Hello guys, so this is the ultimate form of Blightheart. It just means that it's the most difficult and the most rewarding of Blightheart setup, especially after the buff for Titanic Scarab of Legends, where now it adds 4 additional modifier instead of 2. It makes the strategy a lot harder, but it also gives you more loot. An additional modifier in PoE, it can means nothing. It also can make the Blight boss really crazy. So that's a big swing in additional modifier. For examples, like in my case, I get a Blight bosses that have extra life modifier, life to ES, and crit resistance, and temporal bubbles. And that basically make the Blight boss really hard to kill, and they are very tanky. So you do need a very good amount of DPS. I will guess probably something around 100 mil plus, but once again, I'm playing KB and I don't really know how to calculate KB damage, especially if we including Glacial Tower, because in my build, I only do that much damage with Glacial Tower. Without the Glacial Tower, my damage is actually not that high. And with my current build, I still cannot do this strategy without a Stun Tower, which means that there is a room to push. And if you have strong enough build where you're only going to need one chill tower or one glacial tower, you're going to make more than what I make on this video. So let's get through all the setup. For the first one is the map. I moved from Dune to Mausoleums, and the reason why I moved to Mausoleum is the first one is the altars. For people who are new, a Jungle Folly and Mausoleum is two maps that you're not going to have boss altar until you get into the boss room, because the boss didn't spawn until you get into the boss room. So you're always going to have one player mod and one monster mod, which is the ideal both conditions that give you the best chance to get the modifier that's going to give you a lot of currency. For example, like Scarab duplications, because we are still farming Scarabs. More quantity, that's a player mod. Basically, we just want as much player mod as possible, and without the boss altars, you're always going to guarantee to have a player mod. And the second reason why I'm choosing Mausoleum is because Mausoleum dropped T17 Sanctuary, which is, I think right now is the most expensive T17. I think that's because of the devouring price going up. So that's a nice additions to the profit. And the third reason why I'm choosing Mausoleum is because of the blight layout. So in Mausoleum, I think I tried like over 100 maps on this one already. And I think the blight layout is better on Mausoleum than Dune, because in Mausoleum you are very likely to get the one long line blight, and that is the layout where you're going to get the most lane and the most tower. And the more tower you have, the more you can empower the monster, the more that you're going to have. So that's the reason why I'm choosing Mausoleum. And for the map itself, I'm using Scarab Chisel because we are running Scarabs, and I aim for 200% Scarabs. And you can also reduce the cost by splitting the maps, because splitting the map will still retain the quality from the Scarab Chisel. And the same as before, you can add the Delirium Orb if you want to, but just make sure that you're able to do it, because like I said, this is the hardest form of Blightheart. The difficulty is really high. For the Scarab, I'm using one Blightheart Scarab that will make the Blight have more monster, but you're only going to get one Blight chest at the end of the Blight. And one Scarab of Infuriations that's going to make the Empower Tower also affecting the enemy. And one Scarab of Blooming that's going to give you more unique monster, because we are farming unique monster on this strat. And the next one will be Titanic Scarab that will give the unique monster more quantity and rarity based on your pack size. And the last one is Titanic Scarab of Legends that will give the unique monster 4 additional modifier, and more modifier means more quantity and more rarity. And the next one is Atlas Tree. This is the Atlas Tree that I'm using. It's still basically the same Atlas Tree as before, because we still basically do the same farm. It's just a different Scarabs. So we're still blocking all these modifier, and then we take all the blight node. And also the altar, I'm still using red. If you want to choose blue, you can switch to blue. And right now I'm at 130, so I'm minus 2 points. If you have the last 2 points, you can put one here. This will maximize your pack size of your altars, because altars are really important. And for the last one, you can either go for this, which make the blight monster take more damage, or you can take this node over here, which is going to make your blight chest lucky, which basically just the one chest at the end. I don't really like this node, but sometimes if you get a currency chest or like a blight chest, this can be pretty good. But for me personally, I don't really like this one, so I prefer to go for this node. Another thing you can do in this Atlas tree, I'm taking the blight chances. So on the map device, I'm using quantity of item found, And the reason why I go for that is because we got a lot of nerf on explicit modifier, meaning in map we got less quantity than before. So having more quantity is always good for me. But there is a case to be made to not taking the blight chances. So something like this, you just remove this point and this point over here, and then basically you take this 3 point over here. And then you can allocate the point to something different, like more Scarabs node, or for example, like this ultimatum cluster over here, it will give you more chance to get the catalyzing Scarabs, which is still the most expensive one. So there's something you can do with the Atlas if you want to, and you can guarantee the blight by choosing blight on the map device. And for the result, this is the result that I get. As you can see, we do get way more Scarabs, like a lot more. And I also get 1 T0. This is the Venarius. I'm not going to include that on the calculation like usual. I don't like including unique on the calculation because it's very inconsistent. But in this farm, you do get quite a lot of unique drops. So it's very likely you get something good. So in my case, I get the Venarius, 1 Defiant of Destiny. This is also pretty good unique. I think it's around a 2 or 3 div. And this T0, you can, it's nice to get Mage Blood of Headhunter, but T0 is still T0. And 1 Taste of Fate, and yeah, the loot is pretty standard. Like, I do not get that much map, I do not get that much currency, but I do get more scrap than before. And for the costs, there's a few things changed. The number one is the blight scrap of Infiguration is dropping in price. I buy all my Infiguration at 60C. This can be changed, like the price of Infiguration go up and down depending on when you buy it. I buy all of my Infiguration at 60C. For the Mausoleums, this is the interesting one. I just price check it again, and right now the Mausoleum T16.5 is 13C. In my case, I buy all my Mausoleum at 4C. So I don't know what happens. Maybe some people do some strategy on Mausoleum, so the price going up. I'm just going to put 13C here, even though I buy it at 4C. And the map rolling cost I put here is 1000C. I think it cost me around this much. And the rolling cost is going higher because I cannot do the strategy without the stun tower, meaning I have to avoid a mod like monster cannot be stunned, base action speed cannot go below base value. The map basically getting harder to roll. And the rest of them is still the same. Blooming drop a little bit, I think it's around 40 to 15C. And Titanic Scarab of Legend is 1C, Titanic Scarab is 1C. These two Scarab basically worth nothing. And these 3 items that I price manually because the Wealthy XR price is very far from the actual price. So I got 16 Mausoleum back, and I got 17 randoms, and I got 33 Sanctuary. At the current price, which is at 19 November, which is the date where I'm testing this, we are at profit 150 Divine, and the average map time is still 6 minutes. It doesn't take longer to do the blight. Because number one, I skip all the bridge because the bridge just taking more time but doesn't really give a lot of like currency, so I just decided to skip the bridge. And I think my average time is still around 5 to 5.5 minutes because I do upgrade my build, so my DPS does go up. And if you have to take more than this, I probably won't recommend to do this strat. It's better to just go for this setup and have an easier time, and you can blast the map a lot faster. So the average map time, this is based on my build and this is based on my gameplay. And with average map time 6 minutes, we are at 30 defense per hour. This is the first strategy on this day that I'm actually breaking the 30 defense per hours. I mean, once again, I don't really look too much on this metric, but 30 defense per hour for this league is pretty high. So 30 defense per hour is really, really good, but you really need a very, very good build for this. So just make sure that you have a build that able to do it. If you cannot do this strategy, just go for this setup. This is a lot easier to do. And this basically concludes all my testing for the Blightheart. I don't think there's anything else I need to test for the strategy. And I'm really, really happy I'm able to reach 30 defense per hour because this is my favorite mechanic on the game. Like, I really, really like Blightheart. It's challenging, but it also gives you a lot of stuff, and you always get the loot explosion. That's always nice to see. It always feels good when you have it. So yeah, I think that's all I have for you today. And if you guys have any question, as usual, leave it in the comment below. I will try my best to answer it. And thank you everyone for watching. I really, really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one.